So what is Catalyst? Well, Project Catalyst is Cardano's innovation engine. I guess it could be most traditionally likened to a grant program, but rather than being a traditional grant program where, you put your proposal in and then ultimately at some point in the future, some crusty old dudes decide whether or not your proposal lives or dies, and those crusty old dudes normally amount to like 3 or 4 people in a room, hashing out, whether they like your proposal or not, or even if they don't really come from a position of expertise. Rather than that being the way that Cardano's innovation engine operates, we flipped it almost entirely on its head. We've been doing this for 2 years, really trailblazing and paving the way for how decentralized governance and distributed decision making can be done at scale in the future. So, I mean, that probably doesn't really give too much of an understanding as to what we actually do. But what Catalyst really is all about, it's a community-driven innovation endeavor, meaning that the community and, you're by becoming part of Catalyst and submitting a proposal or, coming to join any of the events, you're beginning to become part of the community. So when I say the community, I'm not just talking about people that have been in Cardano, but people that are, from other ecosystems and spaces that are looking for resources to build their Web3 vision, or, projects that are there to support the growth of, Cardano's ecosystem, whether that's for marketing purposes or otherwise. But essentially, you guys in the community come to Catalyst with your great ideas. You submit proposals within a given funding round, and a funding round is normally about 3 or 4 months long. Your proposal gets submitted. Community members, quite often hundreds of community members, then participate in a review stage where they're giving their opinions and their feedback and scoring each proposal against, criteria. How impactful is it going to be? How feasible is the approach? Whether it's a good representation of value for money. These are the sorts of criteria that the community is scoring and reviewing the proposals against. And then all of those reviews and these scores then get loaded into our voting application. And this becomes information that voters are primed with. So then voters not only read the proposals, but they also take the inputs and the signals that have been given by the community reviewers and ultimately make decisions on which proposals should be funded from the treasury. And so this is why it's a really interesting dynamic, right? Because you've got, as I said, you guys in the community submitting proposals. You guys are, reviewing them and giving opinions as to whether or not you think they're good or not, and then ultimately casting your votes to decide which ones should receive funding. So that is turning the traditional grants model on its head. My pitch club is normally, if you could play more of an active role in deciding how resources are spent on causes you care about, do you want to play or not?